Mountaineer Nation, I have a message for you, especially those of you who want Neal Brown gone. It's time to face reality. He's coming back in 2025, whether we like it or not. And in this episode, brought to you by BetUS Online Sportsbook and Casino and Cats Counter Stone Street and Buckner, I'm going to explain why right after this commercial break. Since 1931, the attorneys at Cats, Cantor, Stone Street, and Buckner have been the voice for victims who have suffered serious injury or death. They have a fierce passion for truth and justice and a sincere compassion for those who have been wronged by others. Whether you have been in a car accident or fighting with an insurance company, or you or a loved one has suffered serious injury or death due to medical negligence, we will ensure your voice is heard loud and clear. Cats, Cantor, Stone Street, and Buckner will ensure there is justice for all West Virginians because we are your lawyer, your voice. Visit us at yourlawyeryourvoice.com. What is up, and welcome into another edition of Couz's Corner. Belly yourself up to the bar. Make yourself comfortable. Let me serve you up this shot of top-shelf college football news and analysis. For those of you who might be new around here, I'm your host, Couz. Now, let's dig into today's show. That's right. Most of you may have already, some of you may have already turned this off. Obviously, if you hear this, you haven't. Thank you for sticking around. If you have kept it on, you're probably throwing something at me right now. You may have even broken your screen by now. Who knows? Because most of you listening probably want Neal Brown fired, regardless of what happens the rest of the 2024 season. Even if West Virginia wins out, a lot of fans are done. A lot of fans are off the Neal Brown train. They're off the climb. They're done. They want him out. But I've got bad news for those fans. He will be back. At least more than likely he will be back. And here's why I say that. Billy Napier at Florida is coming back. And I know what you're asking. Couz, why in the world does that even matter? What does that have to do with West Virginia and Neal Brown? Well, let me read the statement, and then I'll tell you. This is a statement that the University of Florida put out. I wanted to let you know that Billy Napier will continue as head football coach of the Florida Gators. This is from their athletic director, by the way. As we've seen these past several weeks, the young men on this team represent what it means to be a Gator. Their resolve, effort, and execution are evident in their performance and growth each week, building a foundation that promises greater success next season and beyond. UF's commitment to excellence and a championship caliber program is unwavering. In these times of change across college athletics, we are dedicated to a disciplined, stable approach that is focused on long-term, sustained success for Gator athletes, recruits, and fans. I am confident that Billy will meet the challenges and opportunities ahead. We will work alongside him to support any changes needed to elevate Gator football. As college athletics evolves, UF is committed to embracing innovation and strategy, ensuring the Gators thrive in today's competitive landscape. Gator Nation has remained strong, showing up game after game to stand with our team. This loyalty creates an incredible environment that inspires our players to compete with heart and determination. Now, I call on all of Gator Nation to continue standing behind Billy and his dedicated team while we work together to build a championship program. Go Gators, signed Scott Strickland, athletic director. Now, again, what does that have to do with West Virginia? Well, he talked about in that letter why they decided to keep Billy Napier. And in that letter, it talked about the players are still playing hard for Coach Napier. They've bought in. He didn't use those exact words, but I'm paraphrasing. Does that remind you of anything? I watched the Arizona game. The players on West Virginia's team are still playing with effort. They're still giving it their all. I think they're bought in. It's just execution issues they're having. Maybe some coaching issues going on. But they're still bought in. They're still putting forth effort. They're playing hard. They're playing with some physicality. I don't think Neal Brown has lost the locker room or the team. That's number one. Now, he talked about the future of college athletics. We all know that's changing. We've got the before we get, matter of fact, I'm not even going to jump ahead. I've got something else I want to show you first. I'm going to do another screen share. Hope you don't get tired of the screen shares here. But here's what Pete Thamel had to say about it. Obviously, we all know who Pete Thamel is, the writer over at ESPN. Couple notes on Florida bringing back Napier. Per ESPN sources, 70% of Florida's NIL money is in freshmen and sophomores. There's a feeling in the program that star freshman quarterback DJ Lagway is aligned with Napier, and Napier can grow this core of young players. West Virginia has a young quarterback. He's not a freshman, but they have a redshirt sophomore named Nico Marchio, who fans are behind. He seems to be aligned with Neal Brown. If not, he likely would have already left. He's in the year 3 of the program. He could have left by now. He didn't. He stayed because he's loyal and he loves the team and he loves the coaching staff. Sound familiar? There's also a lot of young talent on the team. You've got Josiah Trotter, Traylon Ray, Rodney Gallagher, Trey Lathan. Now, not all these guys are freshmen. You want to talk about freshmen? Rick Darius Farmer, a freshman. You got the talented freshman running backs. We got 2 of them. Khalil Wilkins, a talented freshman quarterback. You've got Ryder Burton, the redshirt freshman backup quarterback who transferred from BYU. The defensive side of the ball, you've got Obina Onwuka. You've got Kyle Altuner, who could be a star offensive lineman that's a freshman. I mean, there's a lot of talented players on this football team at West Virginia that seem to be bought in. Then it goes on to say the buyout for Napier alone would have been more than $26 million, which would have been the second biggest in college football history, behind Texas A&M last year, of course, with Jimbo. The estimated entire transition of Napier, staff, and buying out a coach was estimated internally as $40 million. Again, many of you are asking, Couz, West Virginia's Neal Brown's buyout isn't $40 million. Yes, but $40 million to Florida is probably about equivalent to $10 million for West Virginia, which is about what it would cost them to buy out Brown and his staff. I'm using $10 million as a round number. It might be closer to 8 or 9, but you get my point. Florida has a hell of a lot more money than West Virginia. They have a lot more resources than West Virginia. They're in the SEC. Their TV revenue money is going to be much, much greater than West Virginia. So if they can't afford $40 million, what makes you think West Virginia can afford 10? Let's keep going with Pete's comments. He says, the decision comes with the backdrop of the expected passage of revenue share for the 2025 season, which portends a quieter year than normal for college coaching changes. Schools need to find an extra $20 million at the highest levels, which makes buyouts more difficult. Whether us fans like it or not, West Virginia has less money than most other P4 programs, period. Now, is that an excuse for them not to compete with the likes of Kansas State, Iowa State, and others? No, because they have fewer resources as well. But my point being, it may not make financial sense, and I don't have all the numbers in front of me that Rembacher does. And I've said there needs to be coaching changes made too. But I'm also a realist, and I also can look at numbers and tell you that West Virginia's financial situation is not good. I've talked about the $140 million in debt that the athletic department is under. I've talked about the fact they only have a $105 million budget. Around $15 million of that is probably going to go towards the house settlement each year. That's money that they don't have accounted for. That's an extra $15 million they're going to have to come up with. Where's West Virginia going to find $15 million? You're just going to knock on Ken Kendrick's door and say, hey, Ken, I need $15 million. It doesn't work that way, folks. And oh, by the way, I need another 10 to buy out Neal Brown and his staff, even though they've won 7 football games. I don't see it. And good luck getting the board to approve that, because their job is to manage the finances of the entire university, not just the athletic program or athletic department, I should say. And I said 7 games as an example. Now, Neal Brown this team could fall apart and go 0-4 or 1-3 at the end. Maybe Neal Brown does get fired, but outside of a total collapse and missing a bowl game, we need to expect Neal Brown to be back in 2025. Now, if you're a season ticket holder and you want to refuse to buy season tickets, that's your right. If you want to stop contributing to the MAC, that's your right. If you want to stop contributing to Country Roads Trust, it's your right. It may not be the smart move, because all we're going to do is make it even harder to win if we start pulling NIL money, because it's another area that West Virginia struggles in. They're near the bottom in the Big 12 and NIL money in football. I did a video on that. I'll link to that at the end. It'll be up in the corner of your screen at the end of the video. So pulling NIL money may not be the answer here, folks, because I don't think the university can afford to fire him outside of a total collapse and somebody being willing to write a big fat $10 million check. So you tell me what you think about this topic. I want to hear your thoughts on it. Also, VIP member shout outs for this episode are Matthew Sokos, Todd Biela, Jack's son Clark. I love that name. Andrew Galvin, and Chester Worrell. I thank you all for being VIP members. If you want to pay $2.99 a month or $4.99 a month to support me here and also to get your name called during videos at random times, to get first dibs on comments during live streams, and if you're club level, the $4.99 level, you will also get early access to some videos. If you want to take advantage of that, hit the join button below or go to my channel homepage and hit join there. Also want to remind you, I am an affiliate marketer of ONIT Athlete Trading Cards. If you want to support West Virginia's NIL efforts, or if you're not a West Virginia fan and you just happen to be watching this anyway because you think I'm pretty or something, I don't know. But no, seriously, if you're watching this and you're not a West Virginia fan, there are probably ONIT Athlete Trading Cards for your team as well. So hit the ONIT Athlete link in my description box. Go to the website after hitting that link, and your purchases will help me out. I'll make a small commission, and the athletes will make 60% of the profits towards NIL. You can also go to couzescorner.com/shop, and there'll be a link there as well if that's easier for you. Either way, it really helps me out, and I would really appreciate it. And you can also help out your favorite football program. With that being said, I appreciate you tuning into this show. Have a top shelf day, and cue Country Roads.